This week, we go from really calm weather to really crappy weather as we head to Freeport to say goodbye to Kate and Kaylee. We then do a night passage across the Gulf Stream to Fort Lauderdale, where we hid out from a tropical storm moving through the area. Once the weather cleared, we headed down to Miami for a couple of days to see the sights before moving up the coast to West Palm to stage for our passage north to Norfolk. It was a lot of moving around.
'Cause even in the madness, there is peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. Oh.
It's pretty amazing how fast things can change out here. 1 minute, everything looks fantastic. The water's beautiful, clear skies. It's breathtaking sometimes. And then, all of a sudden, you get this. This storm spun up out of nowhere. We were having a difficult time anchoring in the rocky bottom at West End. Then a water spout spun up. We hightailed it 90 degrees to the spout, then came in afterwards and tied up at the marina. We didn't really film anything after this. It was just a frustrating end to the day. The next day, we sailed around to Freeport, where we tied up at the Grand Bahama Yacht Club. We were here to see Kate and Kaylee off. We had such a great time with them over the past week, and it was really sad seeing them leave. It was a quick ferry ride over to the Port Lucayo marketplace. The girls got a little shopping in, and then we said goodbye. After that, it was time to get down to business and plan this crossing out. Today is our last day in the Bahamas, and we're wrapping up 7 months of cruising. We took delivery of our boat in September, and we left Florida at the beginning of November. We've got to cross the Gulf Stream. It's a little easier going this direction. The wind should be in our favor, the waves should be in our favor, and we spent a lot of time picking the time that we're going to cross. So I want to walk through that. So we generally look at 3 things when we're trying to figure out how to cross. We look at wind data, we look at wave data, then we look at rain and storm data. And if all 3 of those look good, then it's probably a good time to cross. We're in Freeport, Bahamas, and we need to sail to Fort Lauderdale. We have to deal with the Gulf Stream, which is flowing from south to north, which will carry us up the coast of Florida, which is not where we want to go. We want to go down the coast of Florida. So we're going to have to work our way up and then cross and get dragged back down to Fort Lauderdale. Now to do that, we want the winds and the waves to be right. If the wind is coming from the north, for example, then it's going to be pushing against the current and create large waves. We don't want that. So if there's any northerly component to the winds, you don't want to cross. Tonight looks great. It looks flat. It looks like there's hardly any wind, and if there is any wind, it'll be at our back. So that's promising. Then we look at wave data, and if you look at the wave data, there's really nothing. It says there's 1 foot, which in my experience, it'll probably be 2 or 3 feet, which still is not a big problem. Then we look at the rain data, which is probably more important right now because we've been in this kind of unstable atmosphere right now where there's been a bunch of storms popping up each day. We had to dodge them coming up here from West End. So we want a relatively calm period to cross. So if we leave at 5 p.m., we'll get all the way across by the next morning. It'll take us anywhere from 12 to 14 hours to make the trip. And the rain data looks really good. It looks like everything will die off this afternoon, and it looks like it's already died off, and we'll have pretty clear skies to sail across. So it's all looking really promising. I'd love to leave right now, but that would get us in before sunrise tomorrow, and we don't want that either. We need to be able to see where we're going and be able to tie up or drop anchor somewhere. So we'll leave at 5, maybe 6, and get across in 1 night. This isn't a big crossing. We've done this now 3 times, and so it should be straightforward. But that doesn't mean we don't have to prepare. I've gone ahead and made sure the fuel is right. We've done oil changes on the engines. We'll go through all of our standard checklists and we'll be ready to go. The one difference between this and a normal sail is we bought a crap ton of snacks that we'll eat in the middle of the night. But other than that, it should be really straightforward. So, last day in the Bahamas. It's a bummer we're leaving, but I'm sure we'll be back soon. All right, we are off the dock. Next stop, Florida. All right, bye Bahamas.
Bye.
So we're officially underway. We've left Freeport and we're making our way towards Fort Lauderdale. Now this is an overnight. We've done overnights before. We've sailed longer than this at one stretch of a time, but it's been a while. The weather window that we picked is looking really good. I mean, the seas are very calm. The wind is calm, it's at our back, which kind of stinks because we're not getting a lot out of it, but we're still making a little over 6 knots. All told, this should take 16 to 18 hours. We'll roll into Fort Lauderdale. The dockage we have is where we first got our boat. It's kind of a tough marina. There's a lot of current in there if you're in between tides. So we're trying to time this out so that we get there right at high tide, which is 11 p.m. Hopefully that'll work and docking will go smoothly, and then we'll hunker down for the tropical storm that's going to roll through the next day or two. On overnights, you generally take shifts, and all 3 of us are going to take shifts. William's going to take the early one, 9 to 12. Aaron will do 12 to 3, and then I'll do 3 to 6. And then we'll figure it out once the sun comes up. We'll probably take turns, but smaller shifts until we get into Fort Lauderdale. Generally, you're going to be looking for storms and other boats. We'll have the radar on so we can watch both. We'll be watching AIS. And if anything comes up, you wake up other people and talk about what you need to do. It's really not hard. You just have to pay attention and stay awake. We'll be wearing PFDs, even though it's calm at night. You should probably wear your PFD, especially when you're alone, because you never know what's going to happen. So that's kind of it. We're getting started. Sun goes down in about 2 hours, and then the night shifts start. So we're quickly losing sight of land, and I don't think we'll see land for another 10 hours. It's very calm out. The waves are pretty non-existent. I'm sure that'll pick up as soon as we get into the Gulf Stream, but that won't happen for another 6 to 8 hours. So should be calm up until about 3 in the morning, and then we'll see what the Gulf Stream looks like.
This is the end of my shift. I had the 9 to 12 shift, and here's where we're at right now. We're going 6.5 knots. It's 11:53 at night. Just calm seas, 10 knots of wind, so it's not bad. Can't complain. Just been sitting here watching TV and looking at my phone. But it's calm seas, so it's okay. Alright, peace.
Alright, it's 5:38 and the sun's coming up. And we're just about 20 miles from Fort Lauderdale. So we're making good progress. Timing looks like it's working great. Seas are a little rougher here. We're in the middle of the Gulf Stream and we're seeing a 2.5 to 3 knot current, which is pushing us north, but all seems good. So pretty easy passage, and yeah, just looking forward to getting to the United States.
We made it to Florida and tied up at Harbortown Marina for a couple of days while the storm rolled through. It ended up just being a bunch of rain and one short, strong storm. After visiting with good friends and eating lots of great meals, we headed out to Miami for a couple of days. Ivan and Oliver finished up school and flew out for some boat time. There was a lot of sleeping going on. On the first night, we anchored at one of our favorite places, Marine Stadium. There are a lot of small boats anchored here, and most look to be here semi-permanently. It's well protected and close to downtown Miami. As long as you can tolerate the noise from the party boats in the evenings, it's a cool place. The stadium itself is a magnificent piece of architecture. Built in 1963, it was the first purpose-built stadium for powerboat racing. The cantilevered concrete roof was an architectural marvel at the time. Sadly, it's fallen into disrepair, but there's an active effort to restore it to its former glory. The stadium is right in the middle of everything in Miami. If you feel like watching an Elvis movie, watch Clam Bake. This stadium was the backdrop for it. There's even a little island here with its own unique view of downtown Miami. While we had the time at anchor, we reorganized everything to prepare for putting the boat on the hard. It is amazing how much space we have on the boat and how poorly I had organized it when we set off. The next morning, we crossed under the bridge and headed to Coconut Grove.
We made it! Familiar with the pirate?
I called ahead about getting a mooring ball, but they don't take anything over 40 feet, so we just anchored out in the bay and dinghied in. Willie dropped us off, and we spent the afternoon eating and wandering around. We stumbled upon the Barnacle, a state park smack dab in the middle of Coconut Grove. It was a really neat place. It was one of the first houses here in Coconut Grove back in the 1800s.
This is very unusual. We have 3 knots of wind, and it's completely flat. That's Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood in the distance, and there's not a wave out here. So we're gonna have to motor for 4 hours. Thoughts about your last day, your last full day on the boat being tomorrow? What are your thoughts?
I think I'm ready. You know, we've kind of had it. So we've had lots of fun and adventures, and even yesterday we did something different than we normally have done or ever have done, and that's fun. So we're continuing to do new things and explore and do things differently, and I'm ready. I think it's fine and good, and I know there'll be a place to come back to. So like anything, you know, until next time.
Yeah, I'm ready for hot showers and that kind of stuff. And just seeing friends and exploring places on land, like going hiking in the mountains.
Yep.
Sounds exciting to me. Not sweating through your clothes every day. Yep. Would be nice.
I agree.
That would be fun.
I want to see our dog.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see what the summer's like, because at the end, I think we're going to be ready to get back on the boat and go through all the getting ready stuff again. I think we're just gonna cycle through it.
We popped into Harbor Town one more time, filling up on fuel and grabbing one last package. Then we made our way up the intercoastal to Lake Santa Barbara to anchor one last time before heading to West Palm. The next morning, we headed out through the Hillsborough Inlet Bridge. We've been through here once before, and it was just as squirrely as I remember it. The current pushes you towards the southern side of it, so be careful but quick when you go through here.
All right, it's bright and early, and we just left Pompano, and we're heading up to West Palm for our final stop before we transport the boat up to Norfolk. It is really calm out, like strangely calm. We're about a mile offshore from the Hillsborough Inlet, and there's just no waves. There's also no wind, so we're gonna have to motor. So the plan is we'll go to West Palm, go provision, pick up crew, and then head out. And this will be our final voyage of the season. Kind of bittersweet, but you gotta do it because of hurricane season. So.
Catching anything?
No.
No, just water.
You think we're gonna get anything?
Yeah.
Hopefully a great white.
We're gonna get Scott. Scott
You
is.
think so? 1,600-pound great white.
1644.
What's the name of the the shark tracking app y'all are using?
O-Shark or something.
O-Shark?
It's like ocean.
O-Search?
Instead of an ocean, like an N, it's an R.
I think it's O-Search.
O-Search.
It's a cool app. I've never seen those before. And just like that, we made it to West Palm, where Aaron, Ivan, and Oliver hopped off. Stay tuned next week for our 4-day journey up the coast to Norfolk. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see what we're doing daily, follow us on Instagram. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
William, cheer along.
Alright. Oh my gosh, our son.
Should I go over there?